Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Premises. My name's Richard.
My name is Romy. Richard, you do sound a little bit croaky there. Are you okay?
It's probably too much shouting at the England match at the weekend, I'm afraid,
Yeah,
Rooney, mixed with some snotty kids at home. So I've got a bit of a cold, I'm afraid.
that's okay. We'll try our best with this one today then. Let's just jump straight into it. The summer holidays are here, as you know.
Yeah.
But if the pupils have gone, but the contractors, caretakers, and holiday clubs haven't, has the school actually closed?
It's a really good question, Romy. And I suppose this episode is to say to the people who don't quite know, actually, because I remember when I first started working with schools, I wasn't aware, I didn't think about it like this. And I remember
Mm.
speaking to someone when I was doing a site visit saying something like, "Are you ready for the summer shutdown or something?" And they just looked at me like the question made absolutely no sense. And the answer was basically, "What summer shutdown? Like everyone's on holiday but me," kind of thing.
Yeah, and that tells you everything, doesn't it?
Does, yeah. And do you know what I mean? So for those who work outside the school or some who work inside the school who sometimes think that there is a 6 week shutdown, actually it's only closed to pupils. The premises team, will still potentially have their caretakers, the cleaners, the contractors, the holiday clubs or hirers coming in and out of the school pretty much for the whole entire break, in some cases at least.
That's it. For the site team, it could be their busiest time of year, effectively, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose the question is like, who will be there then? Which buildings will they use? Which
Yeah.
systems are still needing to be live? What genuinely can be taken out of service, if anything.
Yeah, I think because one caretaker using a staff room doesn't mean that the whole school is operating normally.
That's it. But what then that means though, Romy, as you know, is that one person still needs safe access though.
Yeah,
They still need welfare. They need a first aid arrangement and a plan for working alone potentially.
they do. And I think what you're saying is that the occupied block used by that person and the locked blocks, they could need whole different arrangements. But
Hmm.
you also have to consider if there are any shared fire alarm or water systems.
Yeah, and things like escape routes and things of that matter as well, Romy, because especially when like the building is quieter, that actually can sometimes make more work, not less, because
Yeah.
of these joined up situations here. So, for example, water hygiene is one of the easiest ones to explain because when water outlets aren't being used regularly, the water can stagnate, of course.
Yeah, so fewer people and a quieter building it doesn't automatically mean fewer controls. I think it's
Yeah.
just that the pattern of work changes.
That's it. So, a school may continue to use its, usual routines, but another school may have to adapt them based on its risk assessment, perhaps getting competent advice, that kind of thing. Because what's important is like, the building being quiet isn't being treated as a control measure itself.
So what about the formal inspection dates by contractors? Could those wait until September, for example?
Well, I mean, not simply because it's August,
Mm.
so if a passenger lift or something like that, I know, has an examination due during a holiday, I would say that date doesn't just move because there's no pupils there and they've gone.
So the calendar belongs to the equipment, not the term dates.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And then obviously there's summer building work,
Yep.
which can make a quiet school a really, really busy site.
Absolutely. Contractors are arriving, the areas may be segregated, escape routes change. Systems therefore might be temporarily isolated. Asbestos information needs to be given to the contractors before they start work, or everything just needs a proper handover before normal occupation resumes. It's that kind of thing.
That's it, yeah. So the school is quiet, apart from the contractors, holiday clubs, and everyone
Yeah,
trying to get a job finished before September,
that's it.
basically.
So very particular kind of quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. And so are we saying that every single term time check should carry on and change for those 6 weeks?
No, and I suppose that's quite important actually when you think about it, because if an area or a piece of equipment is genuinely unused and therefore properly isolated and then covered by a competent, recorded decision to do so, some routine checks can, of course, be adapted. I suppose the distinction is where, between nobody will use this and this is formally being taken out of service.
And of course, taking out of service means that you have to have a plan to bring it back.
Yeah. because just reopening and unlocking doors on the first inset day doesn't, it's not the same as, you now need to know that water controls remain effective, for example, or, isolated equipment has been returned safely if necessary, or contractor work has been handed over and there's no examinations still needed to be done, or remedial actions, that are overdue. It's that kind of thing you now have to think about.
So, Richard, what should schools do then before the term ends?
Just treat the summer as its own operating period, and schools will be doing this, by the way, but it's to record who will be there, which areas they'll use, what stays live, what inspections are going to be due over the period, what therefore needs to be isolated, what needs to happen therefore before September resumes. And doing that one exercise formally, documenting it, will just make the rest of it much, much clearer.
And so, if there's just one thought to leave people with, what would that be?
Just the school isn't closed, it's operating differently.
Okay, great. I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you do watch these regularly, it really helps to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.